It's time to go coast to coast to catch up on the preseason action around the league. You guys, breaks with Richard Jefferson. They are something. First stop we're going to make is Inglewood, California for the first Clippers appearance in the new Intuit Dome. They're hosting the Mavs here. 0 for 9 for Klay Thompson, though, on this
preseason.
night. How concerning, Tim, is that?
I'll quote Jason Kidd. No concern. Now, would they have loved to have seen at least one of those 9 shots splash through the net? Obviously, but he was brought in to complement and benefit from Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving.
Right.
Who were sitting
Ain't nobody gonna leave them open.
Well, they're sitting on the bench in street clothes. You can't judge them off this.
Well, let's go to Indy then. Caitlin Clark, she was at the game. It was another rookie, though, who stole the show. Zach Edey, 23 points off the bench. Perk, should he be starting on opening night?
Duh. Absolutely, he should be starting. I've been high on this big fella since he was at Purdue, giving people that work featherly touch around the basket, and now he's playing dominant in that paint. Imagine him alongside Ja Morant.
Off to Milwaukee, Bulls at the Bucks here. Just the second game Giannis and Dame have played in together in the preseason.
It's that two-man, that post-up, that drift. Even that handoff will lead to a pick and roll down that old Blake Griffin, Chris Paul. But they need more of that. They have to learn how to play together the best way that they know how.
Gotcha.
And then the Bucks down 10 here. Giannis. There's nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing you can do. That's why he is Giannis. That's why this is their window. That's why this season is so important. He is one of the most dominant players we've ever seen.
And that's one of the reasons they brought in Damian Lillard. The step back 3, Bucks down 2. So the beginning of the third here, the Bucks down 11. Giannis knocks down the favorite number. He's been working on that.
I love seeing the young players get it. It's a little different when you're watching the Sharks in the water versus on Shark Week.
Dun-na, flash.
There's another one. There's another one.
And then Torian Prince practicing his camera work.
There's sharks in that water, boys. Oh, Milwaukee, they're coming back.
Getting a shot of Giannis
You
there.
said they never left.
That's apparently we're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it right now because the Bucks saw their leading duo take control against the Bulls. Dame and Giannis created 75 points. That is a huge improvement over their Lakers preseason game. Perk's always saying Giannis can't be so concerned with his back, right? That's how you're going to get Dame involved. It's year 2 of Giannis, Dame, and Doc. Perk, do you have a word of the day here to define the Bucks season?
There you go.
You know what, Malik? I usually wait until the regular season, but since we're 7 days away, you damn right I got a word of the day. Excuseless, okay? Excuseless. That's the word of the day when it comes down to the Milwaukee Bucks this season. In the definition, having or offering no excuse. You know why? Because Doc Rivers, I love you to death. You're my brother. And Butu, we won a championship together. But lately, I've been hearing a lot of excuses from you. Giannis Antetokounmpo, a couple years ago, went on this big thing about, it's not a failure. Sound like an excuse to me. Damian Lillard, never heard it in my life. A guy that's always stood on business while he was important. Last season, all I heard was excuses. This season, none from the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't want to hear them from Doc. I don't want to hear them from Dame. I don't want to hear from Giannis. Go out there and perform and make some noise and get it done.
I'm impressed by Perk. That was well done. The whole music, the whole scene, I loved it. This is my thing with the Bucks. They don't have to look like Giannis. They don't have to look like Jokic and Murray. They don't have to look like Maxey and Embiid. They have to find what their best two-man game is, and then everyone else to eat around it. They don't have to be LeBron and AD, but they need to have those two players be the hub. It used to be just Dame. He never played with an all-star. It used to be just Giannis, and then they would spray out, and then Middleton and all the guys. It is different now, and this is where you can judge players' basketball IQ. How quickly can you adapt? We talk about LeBron being the highest IQ.
Yeah.
Every place he went, he adapted to a different superstar. That's why he is in that position, and that's what these two need to do.
And when you look at their talent, when you look at their ability, when you look at their game, they should work well together. There should be pieces that fit together. They didn't figure it out last year, at least to the potential they need to. But for the Bucks to be a real championship threat, this has to be the best duo in the NBA.
Right, and that's the context of this question, right? You were asking, what does that mean? They were ever out of contention? No, I guess it depends on your definition of contender.
I don't know, second round maybe? Maybe you get to the second round at least?
But, I mean, the team setting the pace here is the Boston Celtics.
Facts.
Whenever we are talking this season, this is the rule on NBA Today. When we're talking about who is a championship contender, we're talking about what a team can do to catch Boston. That is the definition of championship contender. So, with that as the definition, Perk, what does Milwaukee need to do to catch Boston, to get back that championship contention?
Well, when you think about the Boston Celtics, in order to look them eye to eye like the Knicks are doing right now, you have to have the talent, right? You have the talent in Giannis and Dame, but who's going to be your third option? We saw Chris Middleton last year. It was times he showed flashes. He had some good games where it was like, oh, Chris Middleton of old. And then it was times where he actually looked old. And we was like, I'm concerned about Chris Middleton. Can he get it done? Is he still in his prime where he could create to get his shot off? When I'm looking at the Milwaukee Bucks, especially in this sample size in the preseason, I'm looking at the boy Bobby Portis, who has been coming in off the bench and giving people that work. Can he be a third option? I believe he could come in and be a guy that could get him 18 to 20 points a night. Is that going to be enough? Is the help going to help the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis and Dame elevate to the top? Because you need those pieces, especially when you're talking about looking the champs in the eye to go toe-to-toe with them because they're loaded.
Chris Middleton, at his peak, in his prime, which we can all be honest, he is not in his prime. He is in the latter third of his prime. At his prime, he proved. There was questions. Could he be the guy next to Giannis? Yeah. They added Drew Holiday, and it was like that trio with Brook Lopez, with Bobby Portis,
that was kind of won a game in the finals.
And that's what they were supposed to do. They were dominant. He was a great closer. He had Perk over here apologizing on TV.
Which is
hard to get done. So that's impressive. But he's not there now. And so that's where it's like, for me, Chris Middleton has to be your fourth or fifth best player and healthy if they're going to look eye to eye with the Boston Celtics. But I just don't know if that's where the Bucks are right now, where he's your fourth or fifth best player.
You're asking a guy like Gary Trent Jr., who fell through the cracks in free agency, a bargain on a minimum, to be your third or fourth best player.
Bobby Portis. Like, it can be done by committee because you got Lopez, you got Portis, but it's just like it's going to have to be a strong committee.
Yeah, and that's when you're talking about tiers, right, in the Eastern Conference. The Celtics are in a tier, a class of their own, and then you have the Bucks, the Knicks, and the 76ers, and the Bucks may be toward the bottom of those three teams if they're not careful.
I'm on fire.